So in the previous section, we saw the EIPs, right? We understood the EIPs, how they can be allocated. Now, what is ENI? Elastic Network Interfaces. So an elastic network interface is a virtual network interface that you can attach to an instance in an Amazon VPC. So basically, we had a network interface cards kind of thing in the physical structure, if you see in the networking, right?
Yes,
Have
sir.
you seen that network interface cards?
Yes, sir. Seen, sir.
So even some time back, 10 years, 15 years back, we used to attach to laptops also, where there were simple cable laid out without having plugins.
Yes, sir.
Right? ENIs are only available within an Amazon VPC and they are associated with a subnet upon creation. Why it is available with VPC? VPC is a networking domain, virtual private network. So these network interface cards are connected to the network between the network and the PC or any computer, right? Here, what is computer? It is nothing but your EC2.
Easy to. Yes.
So through subnet, you are going to allocate that to ENI. They can have one public IP address and multiple private IP addresses. If there are multiple private IP addresses, one of them is primary. Basically, Elastic network interface card can have IP address, public IP address, and at the same time, through that you can transform to different machines also that information. So private IPs can have more than one. Assigning a second network interface to an instance via an ENI allows it to be dual home, have network presence in different subnets. Basically what happens, ENI can be connected to different subnets also. Basically a network interface is nothing but before going to EC2, it can deviate the information to different IPs, private IPs.
Okay.
Okay. So assigning, an ENI created independently of a particular instance persists regardless of the lifetime of any instance to which it is attached. So what is the lifetime of the instance? Till you terminate it, it has got the lifetime, EC2 life cycle. So any number of times you can stop it, restart it, all these things can happen at booting or something like that. So, but ENI is a fixed, like a fixed IP. If instance dies also, dying is nothing but termination, right here. So even if it dies, as the EIP will exist, you can reuse it for another mission. So if an underlying instance fails, the IP address may be preserved by attaching the ENI to a replacement instance. So basically what happens? ENI can be connected to different private IPs, and at the same time public IP can be connected to the ENI. From that it is deviated to different private systems. ENIs allow you to create a management network, use network and security appliances in your VPC, create dual home instances with workloads or roles on distinct subnets, or create a low budget, high availability solution. These are the options you can opt, depends on the situation. Basically, what happened? You can have multiple subnets also, or within single subnet also. And if you are playing particular role for particular application role, then that application needs different servers in a software architecture. So there you can use it, right? Now let us see this diagram. You have opened the document parallelly.
Yes, sir.
So this is the NAT instance, let us say. So it has got its own security group and ENI is there, right? Then you have VPC router is there. So you know CADR block is configured, from that router is created in on top of the subnets VPC router, right? Then you are going to have two private subnets A and B. One has got DB, another one has got maybe some applications. Then in the public subnet you can load the servers, web servers basically, and it can be configured with the public subnet. Now ENA is connected to particular NAT instance, and through NAT it can be given access to private network IPs. What are the IPs? Private IPs.
Private type is okay. Through NAT only we.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, right. So through NAT, it can be connected. Now, when internet request is coming from through SSH or something, the request will go to the NAT. NAT is directing to the private systems.
Okay, sir.
That is the procedure. Okay. Now, if you see, these are the routing kind of things, private routes. Okay. A route table at the end, we need to put in the last row in subnet row, which NAT you are using it and what is its information. The same way what you have done for IGW in the this one in VPC CADR route table.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let me move to next slide. So what are the endpoints? So Amazon VPC, that is clear, right? ENI.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
So what we are going to do, we are going to pull one scenario for ENI also, like what you have done for auto assign in the afternoon today.
Yes, sir.
We'll do some exercise
Yes, yes, sir.
separately for that. Okay.
Okay.
An Amazon VPC endpoint enables you to create a private connection between your Amazon VPC and another AWS service without requiring access over the internet through a NAT instance.
Sir, I have a doubt here. We are seeing a private subnet, right? So it does mean like similar to private cloud, sir, or it's a different one?
See, what is cloud first of all? Yeah, VPC is a cloud.
Yes, sir.
Networking,
Correct, sir.
cloud
Yes.
networking. Within that, subnet should be there. Within the subnets, private and public classification is there. Then after that, you are attaching EC2s.
Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
When you are launching, you are choosing the subnet, which subnet it should be configured or launched in. Then what is the question now? Can you please repeat?
No, I need to differentiate between the private cloud and the VPC private setup. So here we have the.
No, what is VPC private setup?
Okay, it's almost like private cloud only.
No, what is that? From where you are bringing that concept?
No, we have a different type of cloud, no, sir.
Can you tell
Public cloud,
me? No, hold
cloud,
on.
private cloud, hybrid cloud, and
Hold on.
this one. Yes, sir.
What is VPC acronym?
Virtual private cloud.
So where we are working now? With which cloud, hybrid or private?
VPC comes under private only.
Yeah. So entire AWS cloud services you are using only for private cloud.
Okay.
Nowhere connected with hybrid.
Not hybrid, public. I mean to say it's public cloud.
Public cloud, you are not going to use anything here. With AWS private cloud only, you are defining it.
Okay.
Public cloud is nothing but you are hosting the services. If AWS is hosting services, they are the public cloud people. They are providing the services to the public.
Okay, sir. Getting now. Yes, sir.
Right. So you should not get confusion from the cloud concepts to here. Already you are working with private cloud only.
Okay. Now just a small clarification only, sir. Because when people say the private cloud, right, they say it's a different thing. It's like OpenStack, something like that. They're telling.
No. OpenStack also has got VPC. Virtual private cloud is a concept basically.
Concept only. Okay.
Or virtual networking they call in Azure VPC. They call networking, cloud networking or virtual networking. Even if you go to Google platform, GCP, they call networking only. But here Amazon named it as virtual private cloud for giving full meaning.
Okay, sir. Okay, got it, sir.
Because these guys are the topmost guys when they started cloud offerings, all these things, they followed high level standards. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right. So now here what happens, endpoints are there. Endpoints are there between VPC and AWS. So you want to connect to NAT instance or VPN connection or AWS direct connect, you can have endpoints. So you can create multiple endpoints for a single service and you can use different route tables to enforce. What are the endpoint basically? Let us say S3 service if you want to use. What is the low level actually S3 service if you want to use? What is the component you need to declare it? What is the component there you are using? First thing in S3, not in Glacier. I am talking in view of S3. You need to use the bucket, right?
Buckets, yes, sir. Need to create buckets.
So that bucket is the endpoint. In the bucket, you want to list objects. You want to give access to the objects to particular thing.
Okay.
So how many buckets you can create? You can create multiple buckets.
Multiple.
Right?
Yes, sir.
When you have multiple buckets options, each EC2 or Amazon VPC might need to have multiple buckets information for different EC2 servers.
Okay.
Depends on the application need. Let us say in one bucket, you might store some kind of financial data. Another bucket, you might store payroll data. Another bucket, you can store HR data, right? Then all those can be shared to different systems.
Okay.
In the application, right?
Yes, sir.
So those are nothing but you are sharing it, right? Through AWS S3 IAM roles.
Okay.
So those endpoints you are configuring in the VPC.
Okay.
Okay. But here endpoint purpose, what is the service available? S3 is the service available. But there are other services also. We are going to see timely within our scope of the training, whatever solution architect certification scope. Okay. Right. Now, Amazon VPC endpoints currently support communication with Amazon Simple Storage, and other services are expected to be added in future. Like there can be
We
RDS.
can use EFS also. Am I right, sir?
Yes, EFS also you can use it, but we'll talk that topic separately.
Okay.
Okay. When EFS comes into picture.
Okay.
Okay, so you must do the following to create the VPC endpoint. Specify the Amazon VPC, which you want to choose it, and specify a service. A service is identified by prefix list of the form. Like here, I have a region. Like you have what is that APAC, AP dash East one or something is there, right?
Yes, sir.
And dot S3 you give it. So that is the service endpoint identification. Then specify the policy. You can allow full access or create custom policy. This policy can be changed at any time. Okay. So like S3, you want to have full access, whatever VPC network you are creating through particular IAM role, in that you need to add that policy.
Okay.
How you did it in the morning session? You had VPC full access ID, user ID of IAM role. Then you added one more user ID which can have access to the. I mean, one more called
EC2.
EC2 policy you added. Group you added basically.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that way it can be changed anytime. Specify the route tables. A route will be added to each specified route table, which will state the service as the destination and the endpoint as the target. These things we are going to do in the lab. There are specifications in the documentation given. According to that, we will follow that. Okay. Now, if you see the diagram here, there is a NAT. 1 minute.
No, second one, sir.
Yeah, right. Endpoints. We are at endpoints. The slide jumped. So if you see here, there is a internet gateway, internet, and there is a public subnet, and you have a router and you have private subnet, and S3 bucket is there. S3 bucket URL is given there as a service endpoint to access this particular bucket. Bucket S3 is a service. Under S3, you are giving one point. What is that point? Bucket name.
Bucket. Okay.
So with this URL, as bucket URL, you are going to take it. And later on, it is going to be pulled by the subnet. So here, the public subnet is going to have access, and all these can be connected to EC2s. I mean, public and private both will have access as private connection to the endpoints.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us move to next one.
Okay, sir.
These are the examples I have given it, endpoint tables, but in the documentation you will get very good clarity.
Okay.
Okay. How you can define all these things. There are very detailed tables are given in this URL also. Okay. Right. Now let us see these things. If you see here how high level it is given, S3 is connected to the VPC endpoint. Through router, it is connected to the VPC. Within the VPC, what components are executing? That is none of our business when you are connecting the endpoint to the VPC. The technical people, developers are going to use that.
Okay.
Okay. But our job is, as cloud engineer or cloud architect, we are supposed to see endpoints are provided to that particular network. Right? There are a lot of things you guys need to analyze it. When you go to the live, it is not so easy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is a kind of development project only, setting up an infrastructure. Okay. Now, if you see another example here, if you see there is a VPG and VPG is connected to customer gateway. But here it doesn't have any endpoint, but just simply we are showing VPN connection purpose only. We'll see next slide. Okay. Now, what is peering? So Amazon VPC peering connection is a network connection between two Amazon VPCs that enable instances in either Amazon VPC to communicate with each other as if they are within the same network. So like you have network domains are there in any office, right? Each domain need to have a peering. Peering is nothing but interconnection, internetworking.
Yes, sir.
So this is nothing but internetworking we are creating between the VPCs. So you can create an Amazon VPC peering connection between your own VPCs or with an Amazon VPC in another AWS account with a single region. Now, let us say you create two dummy accounts, free tier accounts. Then between these two, you can try. VPC peering, if you want to do, we need to have another account actually.
Okay.
Okay, but you can have free tier account with another this one option, right? So from there you can connect and test it also. So we'll do this. You note down these things. By that time you need to have total two accounts, parent accounts.
Okay.
There also you need to have IAM roles. All these setup need to be established. You have to do it because in the interviews they are asking this kind of questions.
Okay, sir.
Peering kind of thing, because when you go to corporate, you will not have single account, you will have multiple accounts. Multiple accounts will have different interfaces for applications purpose. Then you need to ping to that particular system. So when it is connected to the peering, what happens? A peering connection is neither a gateway nor an Amazon VPC connection and does not introduce a single point of failure or communication. So this is nowhere connected like related to virtual private networking concept. It is within the accounts itself, it is there within the AWS platform. Peering connections are created through a request or a accept protocol. The owner of the requesting Amazon VPC sends a request to peer to the owner of the peer Amazon VPC. It means request will go to that particular owner. Then if the peer Amazon VPC is within the same account, it is identified by its VPC ID. If the peer VPC is within a different account, it is identified by account ID or VPC ID. So what happens when both accounts are interconnected? You have VPC IDs. VPC IDs are unique ones across AWS platform. That is created by the Amazon Web Services, not by us.
Okay.
Now, the owner of the peer VPC has 1 week to accept or reject the request to peer within the requesting Amazon VPC before the peering request expires. So, this is the process actually. Notification, like a notification service process. Notification is what, when you add a particular email ID, email will go to subscriber. Subscriber need to accept that. The same concept, right?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Publisher will send to subscriber. Subscriber has to accept the request actually.
Right. The same concept here. And Amazon VPC may have multiple peering connections, and peering is one-to-one relationship between VPCs, meaning two Amazon VPCs cannot have two peering agreements between them. See what happens. Peering you are asking to have from that account to this account. Once it is established, you can connect to any VPC within that accounts.
Okay.
So this peering request, once it is accepted by the account ID, you are going to use the VPC IDs to connect to that particular network. That became your own networks.
Okay,
Or your group networks.
okay,
Right? Now let us say you have on-site offshore concepts.
Yes, sir.
They have the same thing, peering. On-site network is different, offshore network is different.
Okay. Both different, yeah.
Yeah, but they are connecting through satellite link or something. Once it is established connection, you open the Windows Explorer, by logging to the Windows server, you will see the offshore servers also.
Okay. How about, can we say as example as a VPN? Because if suppose I'm connecting from India, I'm connecting through VPN to my servers actually from India. Okay.
You will not see VPN in front of your screen or anything in the screen. VPN will work in the backend only, but there will be interface software. Through that, you are going to connect it.
Okay.
Like how you are going to connect to your office from laptop anywhere through internet?
Through VPN only, sir.
Yeah, same concept. What it is doing in the backend, it doesn't display, right? Only network administrator can see that.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So the VPC may have multiple peering connections, and peering is a one-to-one relationship between Amazon VPCs, meaning two VPCs cannot have two peering agreements between them. But like there is
either one only should have the peer agreement.
Yes,
not
yes,
yeah.
yes. So cross connections will not be there. Now, if you see this particular slide, 1 minute. See these VPCs with multiple CIDRs peered together. Like you see here, the IPs also you see. Observe the IPs.
Yes, sir. Both are different segments. VPCA has a 10.2.0, 10.4.0. VPCB has 10.0 and 10.3.
Right. So these ranges are different. Now, if you see another VPC, VPC is connected, right?
Okay, one VPC peer with two VPCs. Okay.
Okay,
both are different. All three are different segment, but VPC A is the primary one actually.
Yes, right. Now, what happens when you have peering connections do not support transitive routing? See, once already you established with one network, when you have established this kind of thing, you are not supposed to connect directly.
I didn't get you, sir. If I'm
okay, you tell me A to B, A to C is there, vice versa.
Yes, sir.
But when you have these kind of peerings, the protocol can send the messages from B to C via A. But it will not go direct.
It will not go to that.
Yeah, it will not accept the direct connection to B to C, because the peering meaning is I want to have connection with other.
B2A, sir. B2A will work, right, sir?
B2A will work. It is showing the arrow mark, right?
It's a two-way only, right? Actually, okay.
Yes, two-way. Asynchronous communication.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So these need to be cautious to do that. Okay, directly you can't connect to that. Via one network you can connect it. Okay. So this is called transitive routing. Okay. We're continuing in the peering only with the different combinations. So figure 10.1, VPC has two peering connections with two different VPCs, B and C. So VPC A can communicate directly with VPCs B and C because peering connection do not support transitive routing. When you establish with other networks as a peering, the base peering network need to have like a home connection kind of thing. Through that only the routing need to happen. Okay. In order to B and C communicate with each other, peering connection must explicitly created between them. So it is created this here. So here are the important points you need to understand it. One is you cannot create a peering connection between Amazon VPCs that have matching or overlapping CIDR blocks. You know that why I was talking to you specifically to use very limited CIDR IPs on the requirement only. You know here the private IPs will be more. The ranges, if you see any of these connections, there is no overlapping in the IPs.
It's all pointing each other. Yes, sir.
There are different ranges, right?
Different ranges, yes.
So Amazon VPCs in different regions, but they are having unique numbers, right? Because if you want to ping to particular private IP, what happens? If there is a duplicate IP, you will not get that connection, right?
Yes,
So that's there. Even see when you are peering it, it will verify all the things. It process that.
Okay.
Like a networking connection process. Then after that, it allows you to get connection.
Sir, and okay, sir. The point number 3 mentioned, in order for VPC B and C to communicate with each other, a peering connection must be explicitly created. Means how, sir? The B and C here, the first diagram.
This is the peering. Peering is happening from between B to C via VPCA.
Okay.
It is via VPCA.
With routing, something like
Yes.
routing. Okay.
Here you see here the next diagram peering connection VPC peering. A is there. A is connected to C E. Okay. Then these all are connected.
These are all interconnected, sir. This one.
These all are interconnected. So when you want to interconnect it, peering can can be connected. You can establish the peering connection. But in the earlier diagram, if you see, without having connection, you are trying to ping to this P. This EM. But the communication will go via A. But if you want to interact with B to C, there should be a establishment of peering connection. In this diagram, as peering connection happened.
Okay.
Without having peering connection, you can't do that.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
So these are different scenarios. Now you see here, in this peering connection is there among each of
V4, V6.
Okay.
So there are 3 routers are there.
Yeah, 3 routers are there. Between 2. See, first set is by having one peering connection among 3. Then another one is by having one-to-one peering connection. Okay, by having multiple peering connections in this diagram. But without peering, you are not going to get connected directly to the other network where it is not paired yet.
Okay.
Are you getting?
I'm getting, sir.
You take one example. Now, with your client, multiple vendors are working. They have offshore centers. Center 1, 2, 3, 4, like that centers they have created. Now, the main network is from on-site. It is established to all these 3 centers. Then center 1 to center 2 will not have a direct connection unless you have established that connection. Understand that?
Yes, sir.
So what is the company 1 to company 2 will not have a direct connection, but you can look provided access is there via on-site domain. Are you getting?
Yes, sir. Getting, sir.
But if they release the connection between vendor 1 to vendor 2, yes, that time you can have multiple vendors direct connections with their ODCs.
Okay.
But security purposes, they don't want to do that. Clients. Most of the ODCs have got the same setup.
Okay.
You think that way, that is the scenario in practice.
Okay.
Okay, but here you are using virtual cloud, private cloud. That is normal network. Both are same. Concept is same.
Okay.
Okay. One advantage with cloud is anytime you can create your own network. Any resource who knows this technology, they can create the network. Am I right or not?
Right, sir. They can do it.
In the past, we used to plan and design, then wait for the purchases, the network components. Then once they are released, we used to get ready for that. Then once the network is designed, connected it, then systems used to be connected, then configure the systems. After that, releasing the systems and testing the systems. So many useless activities were there.
Yes, sir.
all those efforts we kept in vain now. Now with this new technology, people can enjoy, and people who want to take retirement very well, they can go away from this technology. Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
That's where it is going on, na?
Yes, exactly, sir.
Right. We'll move forward. Is it clear up to this part?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Now,
If you want, you can go and have a dinner, sir.
yeah, I think security groups will continue in the next session. That need to be discussed in detail also. What we'll do after coming back? Oh, let me stop recording.